3 minutes.
All right.
3 minutes.
No. All right, we are going to call this meeting to order. Today is March 19th, 2025. It's 4:09 p.m. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We're going to go through our agenda pretty quickly today. We don't have a lot. We don't have any public comments for public speaking today at this point. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the minutes. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Thank you, Commissioner Jordan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Communications. I don't think the commission has received anything in the last month.
Well, we have that one that came across the email, that just came across, about the prank calls with the Jeffrey May.
Oh, the one that was reporting the prank calls.
Yeah, so it was,
I think that was more designed for
what
police
was,
Yeah.
report.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I received a phone call this morning from a young lady off of Washington Avenue. Just wanted to say, great job by the officers. There was 2 incidents at her house, both involving some mental health issues. And she said that I looked the call up, and it was the first call was Anthony North, Noah Kite, Frankie Saraceno. And then again this morning, the call involved Ryan Ace and Tyler Porter. And she said that everybody was extremely professional, and that first incident, the officers were just great at the escalation. Clearly involved, and it didn't involve anyone in their household. There were people outside that were having a problem, and they immediately evaluated it and called for more mental health, and they showed a tremendous amount of compassion. So she was very pleased with that. So I felt she should call. So.
good. Well, thanks for sharing that, Chief.
Yes, sir.
It's very helpful. All right, how about you give us an update on what's been going on last month or so?
Yeah, it's, so thankfully, all good stuff. Just went through the St. Patrick's Day Parade. The detail was great. No issues with any closures, there was no problems going down there. Lieutenant Negron worked with the Hibernians, did an awesome job organizing it. We use the Meridian barriers, which always are a big hit. Most of the corners were covered either by police officers or crossing guards, and there was really no hiccups on it. The weather was cooperating with us, and all went well. It was great event, and well received by all. I think at least as the police was passing, we're getting the wave, so that was incredible. So that was the parade detail. We have a bunch of events this year that we're organizing right now. Lieutenant Negron's in charge of doing that. I got an update on the tech grant. We just finalized the agreement with the county for the new records management system, and they're currently doing a build out specific to Kingston, and then they're going to work with our IT to get it installed. As soon as that build out is finalized, we're going to start training, and then we're going to move everything over from our current records management system, which is Impact. We bought that back in 16, 17, and we're now moving to the county system, which allows us to share and see all the records with all the other agencies. Tyler has been very good to work with. Kudos to the under sheriff and Lieutenant Colin Reynolds from the SO. They've been great. They've met with us numerous times. Erickson from the County Emergency Management. This will be great improvement over what we've had for years. One, it's continually updated. Two, we're sharing data so we can see if there's events across the county and actually multiple counties in the Hudson Valley. Plus, it gives the ability for the supervisors to have real-time information on their phones as these calls are happening. We don't currently have that capability. So I think that's a huge plus for us. There's some concern amongst the rank and file about the training piece. They're recommending 3 consecutive days of training to get through it, because it is, although the basic records management system is the same, there are some uniqueness to it, the way we have to change things operationally from how we dispatch calls to how the supervisors review them. But the integration should go smooth. At the same time, we are going to move from a paper-based evidence and property management system to a barcode system. It really doesn't change much in-house as far as how we handle it, except for the tracking. So as officers enter the information, they'll get a barcode printed out, put it on the evidence, and then our evidence custodians can then just scan it, depending on if it goes to the lab or. So a little bit easier to track. And we've been trying to do this with impact and just met limitations sometimes. So, and at some point that, after discussing with them, the next evolution, and this currently works, is to replace our track system, or traffic and accident system, or software system that the state provides, with a system that Tyler's designing to be in-house. So this should end up to be all-inclusive as one system. We switched over to the county's AVL, auto vehicle locators, so that we can see the cars real time. It's been working great, absolutely flawless. The one step up from what we used to have with TrackStar is the history capability. Now, if someone said, oh, there was a car parked in such and such location, or it was traveling at such and such a speed, we can automatically enter it and drill right down as to what, whose vehicle, where it was, what they were doing, all that stuff. So, and really simple implementation. It's just, we have bone steels installing the devices into the cars. And there's no real work on the officer side. It's all invisible. And the last piece of that tech grant is that we are looking to go from a rugged, semi-rugged laptop in the cars to a fixed mount tablet that has the capability from being removed and a movable keyboard. I think, Mary, you were in the traffic unit car, you saw how tight it can be.
Even, I'm a relatively small person, and it was hard to get my seatbelt on and maneuver in there, in and out of the car. I can't imagine what it's like for them to be able to hop out of the car quickly, with all of that. You're basically doing work on someone's lap if you've got someone else in the car.
Pretty much. So the idea at some point is to have the capability to remove the tablet from the car and bring it with you onto the scene, whether it's a domestic to fill out a DIR or a traffic crash, or whatever it may be. So we're looking at that. The pricing's about the same. We've looked at systems that Ulster has. The real benefit to us is that there's a lot less wires that are moving around. That seems to be the biggest glitch for us, is the connect, reconnect, the scanner. It's a separate unit. They have to hold it and scan the license and registration. Everything is built into these tablets now. So we're working with our Kyle McIntosh and his team to look at it. So as we move forward with the RMS, we're also moving forward with new technology. I'm getting a finalized quote for 2 of the all traffic system radar signs that'll be assigned to the traffic safety unit. It'll be their responsibility to put them up, take them down. I know in the past it's been difficult for DPW to kind of catch up with a lot of the requests we had. That'll be their responsibility. It's a simple mount, goes on usually signs with the T-post with holes in it. They just lock it in place. Batteries that get changed out once a week if they're up there. And the capability to see the data remotely. That actually get there and download it, Bluetooth and so on. So they can put they can put them up in certain locations and be other places at the time and monitoring traffic. Decide, oh yeah, you know what, let's go over there now and see. So right now, most of the assignment is based upon when we receive complaints or concerns from residents. We had a bunch of complaints, concerns, and their GW for speed while school's in session, and they went up there and wrote a number of tickets and a number of stops up there, and they've been really out there. So good job with them. I will update on that as well. But as far as the tech grant goes, we're working on, we have a test demo camera system out there by Vigilon. They're supposed to be one of the better vendors out there. Recommended, I think it's the same system schools use. What's up at Deets? A bunch of agencies have started to use them. They seem incredible, and the analytics, I guess it would be, really drill down. So once they're all up and running, if this is the vendor we go to, they enter a blue pickup truck and automatically zone into what cameras have seen them. They don't have gunshot detection or LPR capability at this time, but they're moving in that direction as well. So instead of spending the money on separate LPRs, now we can just put cameras up and it'll catch that data as well. So that seems to be the recommendation of the state moving forward, since they're the ones that are funding these projects. So that's pretty much it on the tech grant. Okay, I'm on a roll, right?
So all this technical stuff works without Wi-Fi?
So that is what we're looking at to do now. So Kyle is recommending either a separate modem for these cameras, We're upgrading all the cars to the 5G network, and when you go to Verizon or AT&T, we're still working that part out. But it'll all be wireless transmissions and no Wi-Fi. It'll all be cellular, everything's cellular. So that's the idea. I know that there's discussion about hard wiring to the cameras in the city. I don't know how that'll go about. I mean, it looks like a pretty good undertaking, because we're looking at probably 30 cameras at this level right now, possibly more. So we have the locations. I know I have to give that information to the council at some point. But we're finally finalizing the vendor first and then see what we can. We do have a camera up and it seems to be working great. You can outline, so it's impressive technology and it keeps getting better and better every time. The cameras we used to have were considered high definition. These are 4K cameras. Like I said, technology today is outdated in 2 years. So we're trying to stay ahead of it on that mark as much as possible. But I can't tell you how many times that we have relied or at least come to hope that a camera system is in that area when an investigation takes place. Because we can go right to it and go, oh, that's the car, and track it that way. So, obviously we're not monitoring it real time as much as we'd like. Our dispatchers are down there on the screen. But when something does kick off, they're able to immediately go to the camera in that area and then look at that video. So we have a system upstairs, a viewing system upstairs in the detective division and one downstairs for dispatch. So it works out pretty nice. I think I may have addressed that another one, just to bring it the commission up to speed. We're currently using an Axon Fleet for our dash cams. And they have now upgraded all the dash cam systems to LBR capability. So just as an officer's driving around, the cameras are picking up plates as they're driving and automatically syncing that information against known hit lists to say ABC 123 is suspended or whatever. And there's still confirmation that has to take place, but it's a huge benefit. So, officers could maybe look in one direction and that camera will still pick up parked cars or parking lots. And that seems to be one of the huge benefits is, we had one mobile LPR and now we're going to have 13 of them. So as the officers are driving around throughout their shift, it's automatic. It's pretty good system. We have the capability to enter local vehicles, local plates, if they're like scofflaw for parking or, but certainly the biggest benefit is, we get a statewide information that, ABC 123 was involved in an abduction. That information gets pushed to our LPRs and cars. And now if it happens to get in and around Kingston, it'll trigger. Yeah. We actually had that, I think it was late last year that we had a vehicle that came out, it was a stolen vehicle out of this area, ended up going south, came back into Kingston. Our LPR picked it up. The dispatcher saw it on the screen, contacted headquarters, and then the officers ended up getting right behind it and stopped the vehicle. So the vehicle actually crashed, but it was not our doing. It just failed to make the turn. So, but the technology's out there, and something like that we could never, you just can't rely on that, just having that capability. So it's nice to see it. We are currently looking at a renewed Axon contract. One of the benefits of moving up to the next tier, they call it the Safety 10 system, is an upgraded system, both the taser deployment, the triggering systems, and the Axon. I'm told, I have not seen the demo yet, but they came to kind of pitch it to everybody else down here. It was capability for real-time translation. So now, as the cameras are rolling, if there's a person speaking Spanish, that information is being triggered like Google Translate. It's being built into the algorithm of the body camera. So huge plus for officers on the scene that may not have the capability, the ability to speak it. So we'll see. I know that there's concerns about pricing. We're trying to work that part out. And looking at the state, we had a meeting at the Crime Analysis Center. Axon is really embedded in a lot of the agencies now. They're on the cutting edge, even training. They've got all VR. They're all doing VR training now. They have that capability to put that out to the officers in the field now. And, it never replace hands-on, but certainly for decision-making, fast machine firearms training simulators, and all that, it's pretty impressive. But it comes with a price tag. So there's a bit of balance. So the traffic safety unit, to date, including today, The unit has made over 824 stops, issued 800 traffic summonses, 297 warnings, 22 arrests, and has dealt with or investigated 31 crashes. The average right now is 53% of all the stops involve city residents. So we're looking about half the stops, tracking the local. On the shift work, total, including 412, they're mostly assigned to the day shift. So in addition to them and all the other officers who are now being encouraged to kind of focus on traffic when they see it, over 1,400 stops and 1,129 summonses. That is a far cry from 2024. So yeah, and it's impressive when you can kind of just put people out there focusing on those things.
What's their primary hours?
What's that? The primary hours right now are about 8 to 4, but they do shift. Last night they worked, I think, until 7:30. Sometimes they'll come in on a Saturday. So they're, both Officer Oliver Menon and Officer Brandon North have flexibility in there. We pull them off the regular shift work and assign them to this unit. So if they say, hey, we can come in Saturday or Sunday, and we're looking at the data to determine what best. Sunday mornings, there's not a lot of traffic out there. We're not getting the complaints, especially in school zone and business districts. So we're kind of looking at that and saying, okay, we had issues right along Broadway just to get to the underpass before they turn on Thomas. People going through the parking lanes, and they've stopped a number of vehicles doing that. School zones, they've had issues with that. The roundabout hasn't been too bad. So we look at it.
It works.
Yeah, it does. As long as keep moving, right? So they know how to do it. It's not bad, but.
Washington Avenue, Broadway.
Yeah. They focus on North Front. Occasionally they come across parking issues, double parked, and they try to work through that a lot. Washington Avenue, they're heavily focused on Washington, Schwank, and Hurley. We did get complaints about speeders coming in from Hurley on Hurley Avenue, and they wrote a number of tickets on speed on that one. And again, just to make clear to the public, I know Brian's writing that stuff in the corner. They're not writing 26 and 27 miles an hour for a 25 zone. They're hitting 35, 40 coming in, and that is completely.
People are running those stop signs and running the lights, light turns green and you see 3 cars running from the other side.
And in addition to that, they're getting stuff like, they've had a couple of incidents where people are improperly using transporter plates on their vehicles. They just had one where the guy had a cardboard plate. He just wrote it with a magic marker on a piece of cardboard. And it wasn't even a valid number, right? If the plate was missing, it's but it was a suspended registration. So, there's been a couple of those. Some of the complaints, especially at intersections where there's gas stations or businesses, that they cut across the parking lot to avoid the traffic control device. So there's been summonses attached to that as well. So I have our clerks working up the details like we did that time. I'm going to try to do a month-by-month percentage of what stops they're making across the board. So Midnight's, just to kind of give you a breakdown, is doing about a third of the stops of the 412 shift. But again, a lot less traffic, right? A tremendous amount less traffic. So, but overall, it's good. And again, just to kind of put it out there. So I don't tell them to write tickets. I tell them to make the stops when they see it, right? If they decide to issue the warning or issue the summons, that's on them. It's at their discretion. And we've had, the number of stops and summonses issued, not one complaint has come in, right?
I'm hearing nothing about that. Well, that's one, I don't know what you got here, but it's all positive.
Yeah.
You're seeing the difference that you're slowing people down.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important to get it out there. So, but they're still anxious. In addition, today, in fact, members of Nuvance Health stopped by and dropped off a number of car seats for us. They delivered a bunch of car seats. Brandon North and Ryan Nace are 2 of our certified car seat technicians. We're having a number of officers going, including Oliver Menon, that will be going to that. Plus, they'll be certified in car fit, which is kind of the senior capability, the senior citizen type of fit, where they make sure the seatbelt and they're not looking over the wheel, and they're so there's a benefit to do that as well. But we're trying to make the traffic safety unit all encompassing, so at any point we can rely on that. We have them going to an A-Ride class, DRE signed up, depending on the DUI stuff that they handle. Drug recognition expert is big step for us. We currently have Mike Francis one, but as a detective, can't really get called out that often, so. Yeah, no, I tell you, it's been very successful. The vehicle that we're gonna be using for that, the electric vehicle, the Chevy Blazer, has not been outfitted. Everything's been ordered. It's just been supply issues with getting, the vehicle's relatively new, and apparently the suppliers who are Avis and a couple of the other Cage and, center console, and just don't have the equipment rolling out yet. So we're trying to get it out there. The vehicle will have front and rear facing radar units in there as well. They have done some details with LiDAR, handheld LiDAR units. They've done a couple of crosswalk details. We got the bid done, and there's electrical work being done at our headquarters right now for the installation of the 4 high-speed chargers, Power 2s, like Power 2 Pluses, I guess they are, Power 2s. So that should be done probably before the end of next week. Currently, we're still using a low power charger, and it takes a little while to get the thing up. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just waiting on those to get complete before we roll them out. We did use one in the parade, which was well received. The vehicle was received, knowing it was used for traffic enforcement. I think there was a couple of people, I got a traffic guy, I got a ticket for that guy. So far, no complaints. They're absolutely professionals. Those two. The next one on is vacancies. We currently do not have one, but end of the month we will. Officer Logan Irwin is going to the state police, so there'll be a vacancy there. We have a number of backgrounds we're working on, so we're hoping to do interviews in April. That's the plan, but we'll see. I think we have 13 on the list. I think 7 replied to our canvas, and those 7 are doing backgrounds now. So there may be another vacancy in May, and then another one at the end of June is what we're looking at right now. So as long as we can get them all hired prior to the academy starting, at least we'll be back for that one. So, and we are pushing, if anyone has anyone that wants to come in as a lateral hire, if they have a year or more for agency, they can come over, like we've done in the past. But,
How long was Logan with us?
he was hired in July of last year. Yeah. Yeah, he came to see me, we talked, he says it's, I can read you a letter from you, he's like, I'm really torn, what do I do, and I said, no, you do what you think is right, that's your decision. And he said, I really like it here, everyone's been great, and, but he's chosen to go that route, and so there we go. We did have a meet and greet with the chiefs at the academy down here, there was 19 recruits. And I can tell you, we probably had more chiefs there. We had chief from Hyde Park, we had Sean on Plattekill, they were all there. And it was more of a sales pitch, really, like, hey, you can work for us. The difficulty I had was, I say competing with amongst them is that we don't have part-time capability. So they go in and, an officer or recruit officer that is looking to get picked up and work part-time can't turn to the city of Kingston. I tell them, here's the link for the test, you got to take the exam, go through the process. A couple of them said, no, I would definitely want to work for Kingston, but it won't be until they take the exam, which is going to be September again. So,
Yeah.
it's a shame.
These other agencies can do part-time.
They can.
Depends,
Yeah. In fact, there was, I don't want to say the wrong agency, but there was an agency there last night that said, all we do is part-time. We have no full-time employees, including, the chief, the sergeants are all part-time. So for them, the benefit is that they can work in a regular work schedule. That's the So, yeah, it was interesting to see. A lot of them were hungry, and all the chiefs there said the same thing. This past 2 or 3 years has been unheard of. In the past, 300 people looking for 1 or 2 vacancies. Now we have, number of vacancies. As long as you're squared away and meet the standards, you got the job. You almost have to be disqualified. So we're looking at that as well. Our lieutenants and some of the sergeants will be attending the county's incident command school coming up for 300 level class. One of the things we're trying to do is make sure that we are ready for any kind of event. So when we talk about National Incident Management System, we get 100, 800, and 700 in the academy. The supervisors were looking to get 200 across the board, and lieutenants, at least lieutenants. we'll have the 300 level. So I got my certification many years ago on it. But this way, in case it's an event, and we have to set up a command post, that everyone involved has that level of training to know how to do it. That's it. I think that's everything I have.
Great, thank you, Chief. Does anyone have any questions for the Chief? All right, unfinished business, the only thing that we have to report is really not much. The employee that you're aware of that we had brought disciplinary charges on is still out on sick leave. And so we don't have anything to report yet. And so we hope to, be prepared with kind of the next steps in the disciplinary process as soon as the employee returns. But as of now, still out sick. So that's kind of the situation that we're in. And that's all I have on that. And we don't have any use of force or any, reviews from any complaints. And so it's really all we have. So unless anyone has any other specific questions, that wraps up our meeting today. So,
All right,
all
wow.
right, great.
Adjourn.
Motion
We
adjourned. Thank you.
must be doing something tonight,
Do I
man.
have a second? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Jordan, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you all very much.
Right?